Hi viewers, and welcome to the channel, and welcome to another episode of the freeCAD mini-series for the Curves Workbench. We're on episode 15 and we're going to be looking at the Blend Solid tool. This allows you to blend two solids with reference to their faces and reference to a number of edges, so we reduce the twisting that can occur. We can also change the continuity between the two solids, and this tool will allow you to morph one solid into another. So I hope you're enjoying the series and I hope you're enjoying the channel, and let's have a look at this tool. If you like this video, please hit a like and also subscribe to the channel. I also have a Ko-Fi site where you can actually donate my contributions to the community, and that's at ko-fi.com/mang0. So we're going to create a new document. I'm going to jump over to the Curves Workbench. If you haven't got this workbench and you haven't been following along and this is your first time, then you'll need to actually install this workbench, and that is in the Tools Add-on Manager, and you'll find the Curves Workbench down here. So this one here, Curves Workbench, which I've already got installed, and you can install and update it from the button down here. So we're in our new document, and I'm going to go over to the Curves Workbench. The tool we're interested in is this one that's sitting here. If you haven't updated your Curves Workbench for a while, you may not have this tool. Just an update will bring that through, and that's the Blend Solid. Create a solid between two faces with some continuity with their supporting shapes. To use this, it can be a bit tricky because there's a few things you have to watch out for. It will act differently in the part and part design, and you may have to convert shapes between those workbenches. What I'm going to do is create some shapes in there, use the tool, show the problems that can occur, and then how to solve them. We're going to first tackle the easy one, which is the part, and we're going to demonstrate how that tool works. So I'm going to create two shapes on here. I'm going to create two similar shapes. Now I can use the primitives along here, or we can use a sketch. We're going to go for a primitive first. So we're going to just create a cube on there, and I'm going to create a second cube as well. This is just to show you how this blend tool works. I'm going to transform one, and we're just going to keep them in line for the time being, keeping it simple so we understand how that tool works. We'll grow how complex this is as we go along. So we have two cubes, and I'm just going to place one slightly apart so we can see those faces. So okay, that we can jump over to the Curves Workbench now, and to use this tool, the Blend Solid, also available on Surface's Blend Solid there, different to the Blend Surface and also the Curves Blend Curve as well. They're all different. We're going to come in and select this face. Also, we need to select two edges. So this is where you have to remember to select the edge. This stops any twisting. So I'm going to select this edge here, and I'm going to select this edge here. So I've selected the face, the back edge, and the bottom edge. Using the Alt key, I'm just going to bring this around. Now I must remember to hold down the Control again. I'll select the face, and then select the back edge and the bottom edge. So we've got those two faces and those two edges selected there. Well, those two edges on each of those sides, and they've been selected in the same selection, so back, bottom, or bottom, back, and then bottom, back. We can then select this tool, and what that'll do is create a surface between those. So that's created a surface there. Now that doesn't look exciting until we start playing with these cubes. So I can transform this cube, and I'm going to move it up and put some angle upon this. So we've transformed it up here. If I hit OK, that surface will change. You can see how those are connected up together. Now you may not want this kind of connection that connects these two. If we don't want that kind of connection and we want something a bit more curved or something a bit different in shape, then we can come down to the Blend Solid, and we've got the continuity settings here. So we can set these to different amounts. So 0 would be just a straight continuity between those two, and if I hit 0 on here, you can see that's gone straight to these, connected up straight there. It's always good to start with 0 and work up, because you can actually overcome some problems in there rather than going to the highest continuity and then working backwards trying to solve those problems. If we look down, you can see that we've got samples, views, and also this shape type. At the moment, this is a solid, so this is a solid shape. This will change depending on how successful this connection is between these two objects. So if I come up to the continuity again, let's start changing continuity 1, which is the shape 1 that we selected in there. So we can see our sources here. We'll pull this out. Here's our box 1, which is our shape 1, and our box, which is our shape 2. So 1 and 2, and the faces they're connected with. So let's bring that continuity up to 5. And we can see continuity from shape 1 is 5 continuity to 1 to this one. So I'm going to bring this down a bit, and we can match continuities between these, deciding what we want. So I'm going to go for a 0 there, and perhaps a 1 connecting up those there. And again, if we want this to curve up, then we have to look at the angles between these two. So this is angling this way. If we so desire, we can actually get rid of these cubes and just use this part here. So I've just pressed spacebar on these cubes just to hide them. This is a separate solid there, but it has got a link between these two. So we can basically hide these if we so desire and just use this as part of our model. But if I wanted for this to go up and this to go up this way, then I would need to change the angle of this. So let's transform this and bring it this way and bring it up to about, say, here or a bit further. So you can see that we've now got that curve between those, a nice curve going up to here. This is a very simple example. If we was doing this in the part design, then let's get rid of these, delete those, and jump over to the part design. And obviously we're looking at two bodies, so we're creating a body, creating a sketch, and let's say along the XY plane, and we're going to use the same here. So we're going to use a square. We'll get more complex in a minute, or a rectangle, four-sided shape, and we'll create a pad on there. Okay, that, and we'll come back, and what I'm going to do is copy this body, duplicate that up, and I'm going to right click and transform that with going this way. So we're going to create a connection between these, the same as we did before, a very simple connection from face to face, basically along the same direction, just translated along the Z axis here. So again, we'll come over to the Curves Workbench and let's shrink this down. Don't need that anymore. So we've got our two shapes there, and we're going to select this face, and remembering I'm going to select the bottom and the back edge, and then using the Alt just bring this around, Control select this face, the bottom and the back edge. So we've got those two selected there with those edges, and we'll create the blend solid between those. You can see something's happened. Well, nothing's happened. So a problem's happened there in that we haven't had any connection between those. The blend solid seems to be fine, but there was an error message that came up. I'm just going to delete that, and we'll try that again. Back edge, bottom, and the same here. Click, back edge, bottom, and we use the blend. And you can see we've got problems links go out of allowed scope. What sometimes happens is that we try to attach these in the part design, and we either get the links go out of scope or we get some twisting. So what you've got to do is come over to the part workbench, click on this body and make it a compound. So go out to part, come down to compound, make compound, or on this other body we can use the toolbar. We've got this one here, compound tools, drop this down and make compound. So they both are compound objects now. That allows me to come over to the Curves Workbench and select an edge, say the back edge and the bottom and that face, the back edge and the bottom, showing that the order that you select these in, as long as they're the correct edges and the faces, it won't cause any problems. And we'll use the blend tool. So you can see that if you're using the part design, you'll need to actually create them as compound objects for this to actually work. Remember, we're parametric as well, so we can come into our sketch like so, and we can adjust one of these. So we can make this a bit more complex, and I'm going to create one that's slightly bigger like so. Hit close. Because it's all parametric, it will filter down and allow us to create the shape that we wanted. And you can see we've got the blending happening in all 3D space on all sides now. And we can take that compound and transform it and just move this so it's turned, and you can see how that's connected up. Remember, you've got the continuity here as well, so we can bring this continuity up. And coming down to the bottom, you can see that we're still solid. It's still a solid shape, so we're all good. Let's add some twisting to one of these. So I'm going to take this one, I'm going to transform and add a twist. I'm going to twist it this way, like so. And you can see we've got this twist here that's happening. Still hasn't broken, all the edges are fine. Got no opening of these seams, these edges here. And we can see that if we go to the blend solid, we come down and have a look. We've got the shape type still as solid. If I twist this even further, we can show you how we can break this. And we'll twist this right the way around, like so. There we go, you can see it's broken now. And this will turn it into a shell. So come down, you can see shape type is shell. So keep an eye on this shape type if you want solids, because what will happen is, I'll just Control Z that to undo it, is that will change. That'll give you an idea of what's happening in the background. Now, this is all good with objects of similar shape. So we've got rectangles here. They're just one's different in size, one end to the other. What happens when these shapes are quite different? So let's go back into the sketch. And it's worth pointing out here that these both have 4 sides. So you need 4 sides for these to connect. They won't merge 2 sides in together to create a blend between those. You would have to do that yourself with the tools in the Curves Workbench and in the part design. You can do that with the join curve, split curves to shape your shape to have the right number of faces on there. And we'll show you that, how to do that. Let's get more complex. So we have these, and we've got these constraints on there at the moment. So let's click on top and let's take these constraints off. So I'm going to delete that constraint there. And we're going to also delete this constraint and start pulling this in. So we've got the same edges. They haven't been renamed at all. We haven't deleted any edges. So we're just moving those in. If we start deleting these edges, obviously we're getting into problems with topological naming issues, because we take an edge off that's already been referenced on here, add an edge in, it may rename it to a different name, so we would have to rebuild that solid in there, that solid blend between the two. That's not a problem. So I've changed that shape. You can see we've got a diamond shape there off to a rectangle with some twist in there. We still should be a solid. Let's come down here and have a look. Yeah, we're still solid, so we're all good there. And we can play with continuity to get the right curvature that we want. So I'm going to put them both as free, and you can see we've got a nice curvature going around connecting those two shapes together. So one thing I haven't talked about is the amount of edges matter. So your shape 1 and your shape 2 that you're blending together must have the same amount of edges. It doesn't matter what shape they are, they must have the same amount of edges and one face. So you map face to face and edges to edges. So for instance, you can see here I'm using squares and rectangles. Those are 4 edge shapes. I could change one of those shapes for a circle as long as it's made of 4 edges. So you would quarter that circle, have one quarter mapped to one side of your square and another quarter mapped to the other side. And you'll get a blend between those two shapes. Let's have a look at some curvature on here. So I'm going to place a curvature on this one here. Now this would require me coming in not to this sketch but the other one. That's compound 01 body, and the pad coming to the original sketch. I'm going to use a section view just to get rid of that body on there so we can see what we're doing. And I'm going to delete this top. Now this will cause problems, or it may cause problems, because I'm not sure if I've referenced that one or not. So I'm just going to add a curve in here like so and close that. You can see we've got some problems already. It could be to do with the twist on here. So let's untwist this a bit. So we've got this compound, and I'm looking at it and I don't think it is to do with the twist because that matches up fine. So I'm going to click on the body. We're just going to delete that and rebuild that. So we get to points where we're actually modifying this, where it's well worth rebuilding that object. So we've got still 4 edges, 1, 2, 3, 4 on both sides. We've got the diamond to this arc shaped body here, and we're going to do the same. We're going to click the face here and click the face here, control click both of those, and we're going to control click this edge and this edge, and we'll look for a corresponding edge on this side. So this edge here and this edge here, and blend between those two. You can see the morphing that's done between those two. So it's created a nice morph between that diamond and the arc shape here. So if you're doing stuff with exhaust or anything like that, with back boxes, going to a number of exhaust outlets, this could be the tool for you to use in there. And we can get even more complex. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to delete the compound. Yes, and delete this body, get rid of this compound and this body, and we're left with the blend. And you can see I've deleted it all the way back, and we've got this blend, and it's got no sources, but we've still got the shape there, so we can still use this shape if we so desire. Let's get rid of that, and that's built something a bit more complex in the part design again. I'm going to use a sketch, XY plane, okay that, and let's have a look at 2 circles. I'm going to place along here. I'm going to bring them into each other. Also I'm going to set the diameter of them to 20, have them overlapping like so. So we've got those there. Gonna use a trim tool between these. So this one here, trim an edge, and we're going to trim out these center bits here. So we've got this shape, and we're going to perhaps pad that up like so, and OK that. So we've got our first shape. Let's create another body in here. We could do this in the part if you so desire. In matter of fact, let's come back. Let's get rid of that body. So I'm going to do it across both the part design and part workbench. So what am I going to add in here? I'm going to just add a simple cylinder and bring the radius up to 20, and let's put a transform on there. So we've got this now. Now the problem is we've got two edges and one face, and one edge and one face. So this won't actually work. Well, first of all, we've got to change this to the body, change that to a compound. We're in the part, which is handy. Come down and make compound. So we've got these both as a compatible compound object and a normal part object. So if we come over to the Curves Workbench, we're probably going to have an issue here, because if we select this face, and well, we can't really select, I suppose we could select this edge and then control select this face and control select this edge and create the blend, but you can see we've got a problem there. That's not going to work, so we need equal edges upon these sides. So we've got two edges on here. We've only got one edge on here. At this point, it's worth thinking about what we actually have here. So we've got a primitive object. So really, which is a radius of 20 and a height of 10, we can create this with a sketch. I'm going to use the part and use the sketcher in the part to create that. XY plane's fine, and we're just going to create a simple circle like so, and we could use arcs on here. I'm just going to split it down the center here and use a trim that side, and then select this side, control select the middle, and use a mirror to mirror that across, and then delete the inner, and make sure these points, so selected them, are constrained together like so. So these are nicely constrained. So let's split that edge down there. Let's close that, and we've got two vertices and two edges on that sketch. Let's come back over to the part, so we're still keeping in the part workbench, and we'll use that sketch and use the extrude. Okay, that. So we've extruded, but we've got two edges on that extrude. There and there. And you notice that our part is a different color to our part design as well. You can see one's got black edges and one's got white edges. Let's take that extrude, transform that, and we'll bring it this way and across like so. And let's come over to our Curves Workbench and click off. Click this face, click one side, then click the other side for the edges, and do the same here. Click this face, click this side, and this side, and now we can use the blend tool between those. That's blended across there like so. We can see we've got some problems here, and this is due to the continuity. So click on the blend solid and always start with 0 continuity, and keep an eye on your shape type as well. So that's a solid now. So we've created basically a blend between this shape and this shape. If you do have problems between these shapes, so I'm going to get rid of that blend. If you do have problems with these shapes, remember we've got the other tools in the Curves Workbench. So I could take this curve here and this one, taking those two, see them highlighting green, and use the join tool, create those as one curve. Try that again. Use the join tool. Let's change those to a join curve there, and we can do the same over this side. That one and that one, and hit the join curve on that. So now we've got two shapes. We can use split curves against here. So for instance, I'll take this one and use the split curve, and take this one and use the split curve, and we can add additional splits in here which will make additional edges. So I've got 25%, 50%. Okay, that's created additional one here, and we'll do the same with this one as well. If I use 50% and 25%, there's additional splits, and we can position these if we so desire. So I can leave that one there and move this round here. We'll click that, so we've got all three, 1, 2 and 3, and 1, 2 and 3, and then we can use our extrudes on here over in the part workbench, and we can use that split curve and extrude that one looking along the Z axis. Okay, that, and also this one. And we've got the additional edges there. You can see them running around there. 1, 2 and 3, and also 1, 2 and 3. And we can come over to the Curves Workbench and then use that face and two of those edges against this face and two of the edges, and create the blend. So there's an idea there as well. If you have some problems trying to create those faces along there, using the split curve and the extrude will allow you to do that. So I hope that's helped. That's watching your feet with the blend curve tool there. A few things in there. There is other options in there, but I'm just going to keep this one short because we'll be going into this in a bit more depth at another time. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe to my site, and also I have a Ko-Fi site where you can actually donate a few pence or a few pounds, dollars, or whatever your currency is, and that's at ko-fi.com/mang0, and there you'll be able to help me fund my site, and all the money that I actually get from any funds will actually get pushed back into the channel. Thanks a lot for watching and subscribing. I'll see you next time.